Hello RCL 5th graders. Today we're going to be working on multiplying mixed numbers by mixed numbers. And I'm going to tell you that in my opinion this is the hardest thing that you have to learn in 5th grade math. It's not so much that the mathematics is hard as it is there are several steps that you have to go through to get the answer. I'm going to be teaching you two ways to multiply mixed numbers by mixed numbers. The first way I'm going to show you is the mathematical way. This is what your parents will remember as the way we learned it. Then I'm going to show you a way using the box method like we use just for multiplying regular whole numbers. So, our lesson today is on multiplying mixed numbers by mixed numbers, and I'm going to show you the mathematical way. What I'd like for you to do is to go get your math journal so that you can write down this sample and you can look back at it to know what to do. So push pause, go get your math journal or get you some paper pencil and come back. Okay, now that you're back with me, let's put our title at the top so you'll know what you're doing. I want you to write multiplying mixed numbers. That's our title. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sample one for you. And we're going to be multiplying 3 1/2 times 3 1/2. Both of those are mixed numbers, and they're mixed because they have a whole number and a fraction. Now the first thing that we have to do before we can solve this problem is we have to turn the mixed number into an improper fraction. And remember, to do that, we're going to make it mad. The M in mad is multiply, so I'm saying 3 times 2 is 6. The A in mad is add. 6 plus 1 is 7. And the D in mad means the denominator stays the same. So, since both of these are the same, the improper fraction for both of them are going to be 7 over 2, or 7/2, okay? Now, we just had a lesson on cross-reducing that will make our process much easier. So I'm going to look 2 and 7, there's nothing I can do. 2 and 7, nothing I can do because 2 will not go into 7. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the rule for multiplying fractions and just multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator. 7 times 7 is 49, and 2 times 2 is 4, okay? So it's an improper fraction. I'm now going to have to turn that back into a mixed number. And the way I do that is by thinking 49 divided by 4, because the fraction bar can mean divided by. But you know that in my mind, it helps me to do a division problem by thinking of it as a multiplication problem. And I'm thinking 4 will go into 49 how many times without going over? Well, I know that 4 times 10 is 40, so let me try the next number. I also know that 11 times 4 is 44, and if you know all of your BMFs, basic multiplication facts, you know that 12 times 4 is 48. So 4 will go into 49 12 times. 12 times 4 is 48, that means 1 is left over, that's your remainder, and the denominator stays the same. So your final answer to 3 1/2 times 3 1/2 is 12 1/4. What I want you to do is to make sure you have all this written down. If I've been going too fast for you and you need to pause it and write it again, I want you to do that. Now we're going to try another one together. I want you to write down 2 7/10 times 3 1/3. Okay. Step 1 in doing it the mathematical way is that we have to turn these mixed numbers into improper fractions, and we're doing that by making them mad. I'm saying 10 times 2 is 20, plus 7 is 27, and my denominator stays the same. Okay? I'm going to make this one mad. M multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. A is add. 9 plus 1 is 10. And D in mad means the denominator stays the same. Now I'm going to use what I've learned about cross-reducing to see if I can make this an easier problem. 10 and 10. 10 will go into 10. 10 will go into 10 one time, and 10 will go into 10 one time. I look at 3 and 27 on the cross. I know that I can divide both of those by 3. 3 will go into 3 one time. That's the same as 3 divided by 3. 3 will go into 27 9 times. That's the same thing as saying 27 divided by 3. So now I'm going to use the rule for multiplying fractions and multiply the denominators. 9 times 1 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. That's an improper fraction. It means the same thing as 9 divided by 1. Plus, you should also know anytime a number is over 1, it's always that whole number. So the final answer to this problem is 9. Again, it's difficult because there are so many steps, not really because the math is hard. Let's try one other one together. Let's try 2 1/4 times 4 4/5. What I would really like for you to do is to pause the video. I want you to try to work it yourself, then turn the video back on and see if you were able to do it on your own without my support, okay? I hope you did it, had a chance to work this out. So now let's look at it and see if you had it right. Remember, step 1 is always to make the mixed numbers mad and turn them into an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So I'm going to have 9/4. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. And I'm going to have 24/5. Now I'm going to look to see if I can do any cross-reducing to make this problem easier. 4 and 24. 4 will go into 24. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 24 divided by 4 is 6, which is the same thing as saying how many times will 4 go into 24. Now when I look at 5 and 9, no, there's not any number other than 1 that will go into both of those. So I'm now ready to follow the rule for multiplying fractions. Multiply the numerators. 9 times 6 is 54, and 1 times 5 is 5. That's an improper fraction. I now have to turn it back into a mixed number. And I'm thinking 54 divided by 5 because the fraction bar can also say divided by. But you know that it's easier for me to think about it as a multiplication problem. So I'm going to think 5 times what number is going to get me closest to 54 without going over? And that would be 10. Because I know that 10 times 5 is 50. How many are left over? 51, 52, 53, 54. 4 are left over. And my denominator always stays the same. So my final answer in this problem is 10 4/5. I know this is new learning for you. I'm going to give you a few problems to do some independent practice on the next number after this video. What I'm going to have you do is either upload your answers on Canvas or send me a picture so I can check and see how you're doing. But the steps are what you need to remember. Number 1 is you're going to turn the mixed number into an improper fraction. Step 2, see if you can make it easier by cross-reducing. Step 3, multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. And step 4, simplify the fraction, which means put it in lowest terms, or if it's improper, turn it back into a mixed number. We're going to be practicing this for a few days. Today you learned the mathematical way. On Monday, you're going to be learning how to break it down and do the box method for doing this. Typically what happens is I teach my 5th graders both of these ways, and then I'm going to let them choose the one that makes the most sense for them. And it usually ends up being about half and half. About half of my students say, oh, Miss Salyer, I like this mathematical way best. And about half of my students say, oh, Miss Salyer, I really like the breaking it down in the box method better. But you do need to know both ways, because on a TCAP test, they may ask you about this method, but they're also probably going to show you a mixed number by mixed number problem broken down into the box, just to make sure that you know that way too, okay? So good luck with your few problems that you're going to try on your own. I'm not giving you a lot because I just want you to have a chance to learn it and practice it. I've asked you to write it down in your math journal so you can look back at your notes right here to see what you did. Or if you need to, watch the video again so that you know how to do it, okay? Good luck. I'm really anxious to see those papers that you turn in and see how you do on this.